Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's start with our opening prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all it is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so let me grab our Divine Feminine Oracle because everybody is gelling with that. So, it's really stiff today. Really stiff today. Okay, let's do this. And our Rise Sister Rise book. Okay, hi Sky, can I have a scan on my heart chakra? Any advice on career path, please? Okay, let's do this. Okay, so the card that we got for you is the Mystic of Peace. I am peace. When my mind is clear, the way is clear. So the energy around the career is that you are trying to figure out what you should do based on what's happening in your career. But what's happening based on your career is what you're creating. Right? So the anxiety that you're feeling about your job, about your future, about money, about where you fit in, about where you belong, is then creating situations to be anxious about and negative future experiences. So just take a moment so that we can take your power back from these thoughts, projections, fears. I'm just going to bring in the angels to help you make the time to meditate, make the time to be present and to pray. Oh, okay. Next one. Thank you so much for your reading to me last week. I really felt the cord cutting and I feel I need to work on my femininity. Any advice with where to start? By the way, I finished the relationship. Wow. Well done. I am so always in respect of that kind of integrity where you really follow your divine guidance. So well done. Where do you start? You start with the stories. You start with the stories you were told about femininity growing up, and you start with looking at this, start asking yourself one core question: what kind of a woman do I want to be? Which is something we were never asked, even in adolescence. What kind of a woman do I want to be? And then that opens up the space for inspiration and creativity instead of other people projecting their ideas of womanhood and femininity and all that stuff onto you. And you start looking at the places where you weren't allowed to be yourself, right? And healing, particularly the base chakras and the sacral chakras, because, oh, there we go, card jumping for you. So the goddess Diana, queen of the wilderness. The language of the natural world is a frequency of love. It is my mother tongue. So they're really showing you to go back into nature. Right, and the goddess Diana was a hunter, so it's this quest energy, going on the heroine's journey to discover who you are in your femininity and how that expresses. So for me, I'm a very girly girl, right? It took a lot of conditioning to turn me into a tomboy. The reason I manifested as a tomboy was to get my mother's love and my father's love. But if you met me when I was a little girl, I loved the sparkly pink clothes. I loved the tutus. I wanted to learn ballet. I wanted a horse for my birthday, right? If you asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to have children. So as a little girl, I was a very feminine girl. And when I got feedback from the environment, oh no, when you grow up, you need a career. You can't have a family and have babies. You need a career. oh, you can't possibly wear something that sparkly, like it's garish, it's attention seeking, it's, you shouldn't want to be sparkly or pink, you're too old to wear sparkly pink things. Only like little girls wear sparkly pink things. It's you can't paint your nails because it's irresponsible. You shouldn't cut your hair that way, it's too sexy. It's this idea, like it took a lot of years of conditioning to make me want to be more academic or make me want to be a boy. And though those parts of me are actually beautiful parts, like my masculine parts are really beautiful parts, they're really they're it's so much knowledge and so much power and um so much creativity. So are the feminine parts of me. So I had to return to the parts of me that like sparkly earrings and that like going shopping and that like painting my nails and that aren't embarrassed about the girly bits, and also the deeper bits of femininity which were never explored, spoken about, and were silenced. So like the parts of me that were ashamed that I wanted to be a mother, that I wanted to run a house, that I wanted to get married because I should want more for myself, right? That's what the shame that was put on me. And I had to go and do work on that. And then I had to do the hidden shadow, which is, even though I want that, I want to be a mother, there's all sorts of things that were never discussed. Like your mother will never probably tell you just how hard, just how hard it is. And to raise children without a village, without, especially nowadays where most women are isolated from their families and they don't have a strong connection, or they live in completely different continents. Your mother will never have described to you in detail birth injuries she had. So there's a lot of silence around the wounds, because when you have a child, you protect them from the things that hurt you, right? You protect them from as much as you can. That's the normally a mother's instinct, right? So it's looking at what you want, what kind of a woman you want to be, what happened that changed your original nature, or distorted your connection with your femininity, however that came about. And then the hidden traumas and the silences, the things that were unspoken, even of the kind of woman that you want to be. So for example, let's say, part of what changed in me as I grew up was that I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be a spiritual teacher, right? So if you go onto social media, if you go onto most training programs, they talk about the sunshine and the rainbows, and they don't talk about the hard stuff. They talk about how people will, you should just basically, it's like cancel culture, ignore negative feedback, and what's the word? You shouldn't care what other people think, and it's rah rah rah. It's not the truth of it. It's not the truth of how much it's going to hurt the first time you lose a client and a friend. It's not the truth of the first time of how much it's going to break your heart and make you want to just give up your business or sabotage yourself the first time a business partner betrays you. It's like there's real shadow in the silences, the things that people don't tell you, partly because they don't want to scare you, and partly because they don't want to appear incompetent. So they hide the extent of the pain they've been through or the situations that they've encountered in these relationships, and don't really give you real solutions, right? So a lot of it you learn on the ground. You learn how to have the hard conversations. You learn that it's not as simple as just blocking people. That you have to really have deep conversations, and that sometimes those go well and sometimes they don't, and your job is just to do the best you can do. You learn that your mission is bigger than one person, often bigger than the people that you hoped would travel with you. There's real heartbreaks that happen, right? Both on the personal journey to womanhood and on the journey to the actualization of your mission as a woman. But healing your femininity is about how you are able to be yourself and in your true essence, because when you were born as a man or when you were born as a woman, on a soul level, you chose to major in that energy for this lifetime. So whenever you are working from the masculine energy, which you are whenever you are teaching and leading, etc., if that dominates your life, then the other parts of your life will be out of balance. And whenever you are too much in your femininity, the masculine will be out of balance. So it's about finding the middle ground. It's about being all of who you are. But when your femininity is out of balance, you won't be able to rest, you won't be able to receive, you won't be able to be supported or taken care of. You're going to struggle to know what you want, because it's the feminine's job to know what it wants, to have desires, right? Um, and we've been taught the opposite, that we should not know what we want and that the man should choose, right? So it's the feminine's job to have desires, and it's the masculine's job to find ways of meeting those desires. So um, let's just do a minute to call in Mother Mary and Archangel Ariel and do a healing on your femininity and all of our femininity today. Okay, it's looking a lot better. Okay, Hira, can you do a reading for me? What I do enjoy from my newly married life now and forever? Um, I'm just going to pull a card for you. I'm not sure what that question was. I'm not going to lie. I think there was a language barrier thing. Let's go one step at a time. Ooh, Mary of Nazareth, Mother of God, I am blessed. My courage gives birth to the divine. So this is 100% a sign of like babies coming or of marriage, like of children on the way. Um, and I think like what's coming up when I'm scanning you is this energy of like this freshness, this newness. What you want to focus on in a new marriage is setting up the habits that will sustain your marriage long term. The Whatever you're doing now, take note. I would journal, I would write it down, make lists, because when you are tired, when you are angry, you will stop doing the very things that will keep the marriage alive, right? So now is actually a time to be very present, very aware. What do you do that lights him up? What does he do that lights you up? How are you both um showing your love for each other? What are your love languages? Um, and having the really deep conversations as well, in the sense of, how do you want to raise your children? Where do you want to buy your home? How do you want to deal with finances, savings, pensions? Like having those really deep conversations so that you are both working as a team. What kind of parenting styles do you like? Is it gentle parenting? Is it more conscious parenting? Is it more what's it called, old-fashioned parenting, like strict parenting? Like go and have a like really deep conversations as to what the expectations are and what the feelings are. How do you feel about education? All of these things are a big deal if you're going to build a life together, or a family together, right? What about things like housework and the invisible load? Because if you don't have the conversations now, then it tends to blindside you as you move forward, right? So now is the best the relationship will be with the most trust. So you want to have those conversations now, because they're the most likely to get solved in an amicable way, and you have the most leverage to solve them as time goes on, because you get more tired and you also get blindsided. It can be harder to have the energy to solve, or even like feel betrayed or disappointed because of these stealth expectations. So that's what I'm getting when I tune into you. Hi, dear Sky. What message do the angels have for me? Any reading or healing would be welcome. Thank you. Okay, let me have a look. That source of healing vibe. Does it say? I'm actually getting guided to do the Rise Sister Rise definition book for you. Script. Okay. Returning to Avalon. The message is okay, whole days spent praying, chanting, and connecting with the wisdom of some of the planet's most sacred sites, chanting as the sun rises over the Tor, that's a place in Glastonbury, lying on the St. Michael and Mary lines and sending my light to the corners of the earth, meditating in the middle of sacred stones in Avebury, surrendering our creations to the goddess at St. Nectan's Glen, where myths suggest that the Knight Templars would go to be blessed by the High Priestess before and after battle, and most significantly, Merlin's Cave. So this energy is about healing the divine feminine, but taking the time to connect with the sacred sites, taking the time to activate the power that's within you. So whenever I touch a card, or I open a page of a book that talks about Glastonbury, those are some of the most powerful ley lines on the planet. The Magdalene line and the Merlin line are like the representations of the planet's divine masculine and feminine energies. So you're being called to sacred sites. You're being called to rituals to activate and hold higher levels of power and channel higher levels of light into the earth. And you're also being called to adventure and playfulness and fun. There's an element of getting out of your own backyard, right? And of really stepping into life and really going beyond your comfort zone. Okay, Dandan is saying hell. Okay, hi Dandan. Can I please have a card for my work path? Yeah, why not? Let's ask. Let's ask Dandan. Let's see. Okay, the enlightened feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I must trust my intuition to guide me. The feeling I'm getting is that you already know, like and you don't like it. It's like, when you know the truth and the truth sucks. You know what you have to do and you just don't want to do it. That's what I'm getting when I tune into you. But you already know this is not a good environment for you. It's like there's you already know, and it needs to be resolved. Yeah. And the other card that was hidden here is Joan of Arc, Warrior of Light. I have steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. So the reason you're staying in these toxic jobs, or you're applying for jobs that are beneath you, and you're ending up with working with people that aren't at the same level as you, is because you're lacking belief in yourself. And this comes from childhood trauma. It comes from not being believed in your version of events when you were a child. And it comes from like having parents that are black and white, either this happened or that happened, as opposed to having parents that will sit down and ask you what happened, and then ask your sibling what happened, and then say, okay, this is how they see it, this is how you see it, as opposed to you're right and you're wrong. There's always a black and white response, right? So it's about going back and healing the wounds of not being believed by our teachers, parents, sometimes by our community, that something happened to us. Kind of like the energy of the child that cried wolf. There we go. It's just Archangel Michael's coming in really strong, and so is Archangel Raphael to do a career healing for you as well. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to do a blessing for your work path. Anybody else that wants a blessing for their career? Let's put that out there. Okay, Sweat is saying, hi, beautiful sky. Would love a message from the angels today. Okay, let's do it. Okay, you've got Lolita, the red goddess. Playfulness is a spiritual power. Laughter leads me back to the light. Okay. So it's this energy of taking things too seriously. I am the queen of seriousness. Ever since I was a kid, I have this concentration, this focus that makes me take things really seriously. And it's a blessing because it means that I know how important things are. And it's a curse because it stops the lightness and the playfulness and the joy of situations that would be so much more fun if I would just play instead of getting angry or upset or afraid. Okay. So you see this Indian goddess is literally surrounded by butterflies right inside this card. So it's this energy of allowing yourself to shift, change and transform. When people don't want to grow, right, or when they want to blame somebody else for them not growing, they will try and pull you down with them, right, and they'll try and keep you back. And it mostly happens because it's really hard to face how hard life is. It's really hard to face how that you are going to have to do it alone. One of my biggest fears was like, I don't want to do it alone. I was like, dear God, please, I don't want to do it alone. And guess what? Because my greatest fear was of having to do it alone, I was constantly having to do it alone, right? Alone in my relationships, alone in it's like what they call like a single married woman, alone in my job. Even though I had an incredible job, I didn't feel connected to the other people. Alone when even in relationships or friendships, because I didn't know how to be who I really was. So it's going back to this energy of looking at the places where you don't know how to connect with yourself, because loneliness is not a disconnection from the world. Loneliness is disconnection from God. Right? So if you go right back to the root, the message is don't be afraid of going alone. Whenever that happens in life, it means that God wants time with you and he wants you to get to know who you really are. And he has bigger plans for you than you have for yourself. And it's important that you step into that and that you accept that and that you nurture that. I'm really going to send in this this huge energy of compassion is coming through. Yeah, and there's this feeling of like it's not fair. Life shouldn't be this hard. It's not fair. So the reality is this, okay? The pain of discipline is 1,000 million times lighter than the pain of regret. Yes, life can be really unfair. Yes, life is often harder than we expected it to be, are prepared for it to be, and it's heartbreaking. But if you do not do what you came here to do, if you let anything stop you, the pain of the regret, it eats you alive, right? Looking back at your life and going, I could have lived, is one of the hardest things imaginable. So it's hard to deliver anyway. And it's something I've had to do my whole life, right? Beat the odds. It's something I've had to do my whole life, succeed no matter what, right? There are people out there holding their breath, waiting for you to feel, waiting for you to fail, basically, right? They're either going to stop holding their breath, or they're going to faint because you're not going to fail. Okay, and I say this from a place of integrity, of somebody that's done it over and over and over again. Everything that I was told that I would not be able to do or that I needed people to be able to do, I did because of faith in God and through God's power. There's a very good song that's called By Your Spirit, God, by Tasha, I think it's Colborn it is, and the lyrics are not by might, not by power, by your spirit, God. It's that energy. So when you face when you face the mountains, when you face people who you thought would be your support but aren't. When you face, you know, I was speaking to one lady yesterday on a medical intuitive discovery call, and she said to me, I don't have my family support. I thought I'd have their support. I can't do without their support. And I was like, well, whilst I hear that you do not have their support, you may never have their support. Um, you can do it without their support. When you don't believe you can do it, everything will fall away until you master self-belief, right? Believing in yourself is a second chakra. It's believing in you. Like Louise say, I can do it. And it's a very deep wound. So let's just send a healing to the part of you that believes that you can't and change it to the belief I can, and give back all that lack of faith, all the people that didn't believe, to the people and the caregivers that projected that on you when you were a little child. It's not yours. You're just going to give it back. You can, you will, you must. You can, you will, you must. Okay. Tara was saying, what can you screen about my new job? I feel so insecure. Is it karma or blocked energy? Okay, when I'm scanning you, it's karma. And it's coming from this energy of you not being honest about yourself. Like you don't want to be in the job. So, okay, let's take a fearless moral inventory for a moment, right? And I didn't get this until I became a boss, but now that I'm a boss, I get this. If you don't want a job, you are going to resent the other people. You're going to resent the work that you do. You're going to come into the space with an energy of resentment. So it's like a boomerang. What you give out comes back to you, right? So if you are a spiritual teacher, if you are a channel, if you are an angel reader, if you are a tarot reader, and you know that's your divine life purpose, you've got no business in somebody else's business. You have to do your thing. If you want to apply for a job as a psychic. There are loads of companies that you can work for as a tarot reader or as a psychic reader, right? But do not apply for a job that you don't really want, because it's a dishonest thing to do, right? It doesn't, you have to pay the bills 100%, but not from a place of resentment, not from a place of being angry at somebody who's going to have to pay you for hating them, right? Whatever you give out comes back to you. So let's release this energy of hating the job, hating having to work, hating the system, and bringing it back to the root. You're not going to be working for the system. You're going to be working for a person, right? That person, whether it's your manager or whatever, has feelings and energies, and they don't need all that psychic attack. So let's release all that stuff. And let's work on the self-belief that you can make the money that you need to make from your divine life purpose, and actually give you the courage to apply for jobs you actually want, that actually excite you, that actually would light you up. Right? There are centers looking for spiritual teachers, looking for therapists and readers. There are companies that hire psychics and tarots to do online readings for them. You do not have to work in an area that you don't like. If you want to work for somebody else, you can still work for somebody else and be on your mission. Okay. Barbara Young is saying, I'm doing well since all your support. Incredible, amazing. I'm nearly at the finish line of completing my Sacred Star embodiment coaching technique. Is this the path for me to do well? Is there a path for me to do well with this? Look, I'm going to say this, and I say this to everybody, right? It's not about the modality. It's about you. Sacred Star technique, Vanya is not just one of my friends. She's an incredible teacher. I'd go as far as to say one of the best teachers alive on the planet today when it comes to spiritual healing. So when you are doing her certification, you have everything you need to be successful. But you still have to do you. Okay, if you don't believe you're worthy, if you don't believe that you that you have what it takes, you'll keep going to the next one or the next one or the next one. So before you finish the course, I would bring that up as a thing, that you still don't feel like this is enough, and work on the enough wound. Because if you don't feel like you have enough, then you will never have enough, right? You will never give yourself permission to start being successful. And that is not about whether or not it's theta or EFT or sacred star or access bars. That is about you putting in the time and the work and the visibility and learning the business skills um, to create the level of success that you desire. There we go. Okay. Okay. KDQ Creatives. Hi, Sky. My partner has had nerve pain for years now. He does physical therapy, but progress has been slow. What's the energetic cause and what would help? I have permission. Thank you. My love, I don't know if it's to do with his back, but they're immediately taking me to his spine and they're showing me that he has a hidden infection. It's like they're showing me an undiagnosed infection. So I would ask his doctors to run a blood test. They will not suggest it because it involves a needle in the spine and it's very painful, but they're showing me he has a hidden infection. Nerve pain responds very well to CBD oil and to copaiba oil and to what's it called, to gut cleanses. One of the biggest reasons that the gut's connected to nerve issues is that most of the nerves in the body are around the gut, right? So let's just do an instant healing for him. And you want to ask him what's getting on his nerves. What's the paradigm shift that he's scared of taking? What's the thing that really triggers him all the time that he can't seem to get away from? Okay. Elizabeth Giacovelli saying, hi, Sky. I've been having some weird digestive symptoms, burning in the epigastrum, indigestion, coughing when eating. Can you shed some light on this? Thanks. Okay, let me do a quick scan. Okay, so you're in an abusive relationship and you are making 1,000,001 excuses. Like you're justifying the toxic behavior, but you are under so much stress. So we're just going to bring in Archangel Michael to protect you and give you the courage to take a stand for what you need. Okay, Maria saying, hi, Sky. Could I have a scan, please? Feeling constant tension and can't find any relief. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, this is like, I'm tuning into you and immediately Archangel Raphael's like showing me constant anxiety. So this is actually, you're worrying about money, darling. Let's just take a minute. I'm going to bring in the abundance angels and we're going to do an energetic vacuum. and just pull out the money. So sometimes the issue is not the issue. I'll give you an example. I decided last Friday that I was going to take a break. And I just got in my car and I drove to the ocean and I sat on the ocean and I said, I need joy. Like, I badly need joy. I need to follow my joy. And I got in my car and then I got guided to go to a little town close by. And then I was going to go and get a new book because normally that cheers me up along with a coffee. I'm a real bookworm. But I just got that tug to turn down left onto the street. I ended up in a crystal shop and I wasn't going to get anything. And my brain was in that, I really can't afford to be spending money on this stuff. And I walked up to this huge citrine crystal and my heart exploded with joy. And I'd said to the universe, I need joy. And my heart was like, oh, and this crystal and me and the soulmate crystal. And I was like, why are you bringing me so much joy? And the fears I was having as normal fears. I want to have another baby. I want to be able to give more time to my son. I want to be able to take better care and deliver at a higher level to my students. I want to be a better wife. So all of this was like, not enough, not enough, not enough, right? And the citrine was literally telling me, it was like, look, I embody and I hold, unlimited abundance. And you are forgetting, right, that the joy is not just what creates unlimited abundance, but it's what creates peace. And all the things that you're asking for, right? To be a better teacher, to be a better mom, to have another child, to create more abundance, all those things come from joy. So you have it backwards, right? So this is what the energy that's coming through is that you're waiting to feel joy until the money comes in, but actually the joy is what brings the money in. So we have to it's upside down. So I want you to feel the peace, feel the joy, feel the abundance, and then it will manifest. So as within, so without. Now there is divine guidance in the middle of that, right? If you don't have your packages, or you haven't written down exactly what it is that you would like in a job, or if you're not being honest, like you don't really want a job anymore, or what's the word? Or you're stuck in that victim consciousness, etc. Okay. Simone is saying, hi, lovely. What are the angels' messages for me today? Oh, let's ask. Okay, Margaret Porty, the mystic of divine love. Love is divine, and I'm nothing except love. So the energy is to trust in who you are. There's a real temptation to get stuck in making healing complicated, making love difficult. Love is simple. So if you are stuck in the myriad or the complicatedness of it, meditate in divine love. One of the reasons I'm so powerful is that I do stop and I meditate every single day. And before my son was born, it was first thing in the morning. After he was born, it became during his naps or during his bedtime. And before I come out of the bedroom, I will lie there and I will do my gratitude my gratitude work, my forgiveness work, and then I will do 15 to 20 minutes of just receiving unconditional love and giving unconditional love, right? And keep it really simple. A habit of forgiveness, unconditional love, and gratitude is more than enough to keep a life in balance and to keep you from being harmed or corrupted, and normally to make most issues dissolve with ease. What most people do is they unconsciously give more power to the problem than they do to God, right? And I was on TikTok the other night, and I was scrolling down, and I can't remember the name of the preacher, but she was saying how it was on her radio, right, that God would fight her battles for her, and that because of the trauma, she was trying to fight her battles herself. She didn't really believe that she was protected and defended by life itself, and this was causing all sorts of not just drama but tension in the body, right? And stress, because she didn't believe that God would fight for her, vindicate her, protect her, take care of her. So there's energy of insane vulnerability, because there's no way a human being in a human body can protect themselves from anything. You have to really tap into that divine protection. So God is your protector, right? God is your protector, and it's trusting that God will take care of you. And then that belief means you're in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. Whereas if you're in that space of believing you have to do everything yourself and people aren't looking out for you and there's something wrong here, then that's what you experience. People don't look out for you and there's something wrong here. Um, and you end up around other people. This is what my husband is really into, conspiracy stuff. And one of the things they discuss in conspiracy theories is an echo chamber, which is one of the most dangerous things about social media I've ever seen, but which existed long before in places like Nazi Germany or any kind of totalitarian state, where people only listen to people who agree with them, right? So misery loves company, wounds love company. Let's say you get divorced, you will, if you go out there, you will be able to find millions of women who will use that as a reason to never love again and to hate men. But you will also find millions of women who find that, who use their divorce as a reason to rise and find true love and move through the hurt that got to them. So when we are triggered, the call is to become present with, not with the PTSD, right? With the fight response, which is the everyone else is wrong and I'm right. It's not me, it's them. That's the persecutor energy, right? The cancel, the block off, or the rescuer, which is the I'm going to bypass, I'm going to enable, I'm going to pretend things are okay when they're not, or the victim, which is that I'm going to do nothing. There's nothing I can do. I'm stuck in learned helplessness. So we want to go into the center of that space. And you'll notice the base chakra contains a triangle for a reason, right? It's called the drama triangle. And the triangle represents those 3 points of consciousness, which are both our prison and our liberation. Because when we go from victim to victor, when we go from rescuer to presence and acceptance, when we go from persecutor to complete responsibility, right? That triangle becomes the vehicle. If you think about a Merkaba, it's a series of triangles that we travel in throughout the universe. But it also becomes the prison when we are responding to whatever's coming up for us as if it's not right, as if it's not the right curriculum. So the first step is to quiet your intellect, to turn within and go, what is actually going on here? Right? What is actually going on here? And if this was the perfect curriculum, if I trusted that my soul and life itself had created this, either so that something within me would be activated, or something within me will be healed, or something within me will be awakened. If I trusted that I am in the right place at the right time doing the right thing, then what needs to be healed? What needs to be changed or transformed? And who am I supposed to become? Right? Who am I choosing to become from this? And that's where you go back to like the Sarah Jakes Roberts metaphors that we were talking about yesterday, with there being seeds inside the scars. But most people will never activate those seeds. They will never tap into those scars. Most people will never even share with you their real scars, right? So let's just do a general clearing on being allowed to be present with what's really going on and face the biggest demons. Okay. Sandy saying, hi, I resigned from my job today and I might go back to my previous job in March if I don't find anything else until then. I need this for a source of income. Any guidance, please? Thank you. I'm going to pull a card for you. Oh, okay. So, Goddess of the Eternal Flame, I am the eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. So, Bridget is the goddess of fire, but I'm really picking up this energy of you needing to speak up for yourself. You needing to stand up for yourself. You're coming from energetically from a place of a shrinking violet, and you need to speak up. You need to um you need to step into your power. Even if you want a raise or if you want to be recognized, you can't do this behind the scenes. You can't wait for people to validate you and recognize you. You have to start validating and recognizing yourself. Okay, so Sweet Fairy is saying, hi, I resigned from my job today and might go back to my previous, oh, that's a different one. Maria is saying, hi, Sky, thank you for healing. Last time you made a group healing on Career Path, it helped me a lot. Now I will be in a better position. Thank you so much. I learned from you. Oh, you're welcome, beautiful. Sunita Sonila, hi, Amazing Sky. Would love a general reading. Guidance from the angels, thank you. So the card that came up is the presence of the feminine. At the center of everything, there is light. I am that light. So the wound that they want you to look at is the belief that at your core, you are wounded. At your core, you are hurt. You have a deep belief that at your core, there's something fundamentally wrong. And the belief to replace it with is you are light, and at the center of everything there is light, not darkness. But somebody gave you the belief, and it's looking like it comes from a religious context, that at the center of everything there is darkness. It's the other way around. At the center of everything there is light. Sweat is saying thank you so much. You're welcome, beautiful. Justina's saying I've never have support from my family, and they show the same the last few months. I'm so sorry, darling. It's such a hard stage of the spiritual journey. I feel alone on this planet. There is always the same with partner, no support from a man. So we're looking at the reality, okay? The illusion is that your family are the problem and the man is the problem. The reality is that the wound is the problem, right? The wound or the fear that you will never be loved, that you are not lovable, that you are not likable, right? That you are not worthy of community, that you are not worthy of connection, of validation. That is the issue. So let's take a moment and go to the real core, that a woman's spirituality, that a woman's power, that a woman's beauty are wrong, and that at her core a woman is like dark. She is seductive, she is evil, she is bad, she's the corruptive force. All those religious stories, can we take it out? Because it's just not true. There we go. Okay. One more. Louise Allen, hi, beautiful. If there's room, would love a reading, Sky, for my new courses I'm bringing through on earth medicine. Let's have a look. Okay. So, Isis, the goddess of magic, sexual energy is sacred. My pleasure is a prayer that brings me back to life. I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. So, the issue is a sexual wound, and it's coming from being taught as a little girl that pleasure is bad. And we just discussed how pleasure is the source of joy, and joy is the source of everything from the creation of life in the act of sexual intimacy to the creation of abundance and the creation of connection, right? Intimacy into me see. Okay, so when we're discussing the courses and bringing in earth medicine, we're talking about intimacy with earth and with life and with the divine itself, right? So let's take it one step at a time. If you think about sexuality, the act of making love is a representation of life itself. So when you struggle to express pleasure or express feelings um in sexuality, then it's because you are being the masculine energy is not able to hold or create a safe space, right? So most women struggle to orgasm, they struggle to let go, they struggle to feel pleasure because they are not allowed to express how they really feel. Their man is not their rock, he is not strong enough to hold the space, they are not safe, so they up and the throat clamps, and the throat and the jaw is the same thing as the vajayjay, the pleasure locks, right? Our capacity to feel seen, heard, and understood is a sexual expression as well as a metaphysical or spiritual one. Sexuality is an expression of our life. So when we are blocked here, we are blocked down there, right? So when the masculine isn't holding a proper space, when they're not saying express, let go, I want all of it, I want everything, right? Then that intimacy or that act of making love can't work, because love can only come in truth, right? True communication given and received, true communion given and received, true creation of life given and received. So the other card that you got was Mother Teresa. It's like, I trust the answers I find within me. I know the presence of love is real. So there's also this real element coming through, this undercurrent of you must believe in yourself, and you have to look at where you were not believed or where you thought others would not believe in you, because the issue when you were a child or in the other lifetime or whatever aspect of the wound it's coming from, right, is now manifesting as you not really deeply believing in yourself. So it becomes an intellectual exercise. You're going through the motions instead of actually feeling excited or feeling joy or letting yourself feel um, the full spectrum experience of life, right? So anywhere where we're all afraid, because I think that's relevant for a lot of people, a lot of you are lighting up like Christmas trees. Anywhere where you're afraid of feeling because you're like, it's too much, I'll be overwhelmed, or it'll pull me off course. Feeling pleasure, feeling joy, feeling the adventure. Let's give you permission to create peace. That you are the power in your emotional world. And anywhere where you don't know what an unconditionally safe masculine container feels like, let's download that for you and the worthiness of it. Okay. I'm going to stop here and do our closing prayer, but I'm getting sucked down to the bottom. I sucked down to the bottom. Okay, Orliva, I'm going to do you last because apparently your angels are demanding a reading. So let's do this. And it's not from the cards, it's from the book. Okay. The message you got is let Shakti sing to you, the power of chanting. When you share your voice, you unlock something in the universe and call a missing piece of you home. An individual voice is the most powerful sound current on the planet. If you have kept your soul's voice silenced or held back, chanting would be really, truly life-changing for you. As we chant, we don't just chant to free or heal ourselves. We also chant for all those who do not have a voice and the healing of it all. In John, it says, this is a verse from the Bible, sound or vibration is the most powerful force in the universe. This is page 176 of Unbinding the Wise Wild Woman, okay, from Rise Sister Rise. So you can see how we were talking about sexual voice and the sexuality being an expression of life itself and not being allowed to express, and then being given permission to unblock, right? Unblock our expression and permission to be ourselves. But one of the most interesting things I heard recently when I was healing divine feminine stuff was tapping into the energy of calling forth the divine masculine instead of having conversations about it or trying to heal it out of a guy or even out of yourself. It's in our genetics. It's so much older than culture or conditioning or even trauma, right? This divine masculine force is ancient and you can call it forth, but first you have to feel worthy as a woman. As you know, people go to you, what do you do to deserve that? I'm a woman, right? Not I did this healing, I did that healing, and I'm activated. I'm a woman, like worthiness as a woman. What did you do to deserve being appreciated and cherished and taken care of? And I'm a woman, right? For millions of years, through thousands of lifetimes, this has been enough. And it will always be enough if you allow it to be. So calling forth that divine masculine in you, but calling it out of your man, calling it out of the universe, calling the divine masculine. Right? You are a woman, you are worthy of it. And knowing that 9 times out of 10, the masculine answers. Okay? But sometimes I'd get goosebumps all over as I'm saying this. Sometimes it is the partner that you're with that has to go. I was really doing these healings on myself over the last 2 weeks because especially in Western culture, women have been taught to pay men to have sex with them, right? We literally pay 50% of the bills and we work our asses off doing our own businesses and often having our own jobs, and we take care of the kids, and then we're paying our partner to be with us. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely upside down. We've completely lost our worth, right? So it's about letting go. When you know that you are worthy of the unconditional provision, protection, and presence of the divine masculine, it doesn't matter if a million men disagree with you. You're like, well, I love you, but not for me. Right? For example, my mom, when I first started looking for a partner, my divine life partner, as it were, she doesn't believe that spiritual men exist, and she thought I was like kind of cuckoo. And she was like, "Well, you're gonna have to kind of like give up on the idea of marrying a spiritual guy because men just aren't like that. You know, they're simple creatures, and you're asking for too much." And there were at least 100 guys that were asking me out or wanting to be with me, but they didn't meet my criteria. I needed somebody who was going to be a spiritual partner because of my life mission. So it didn't matter if there were 1,000 of them lined up the street. My energy was like, thank you, but you're not for me. And that's the energy that you need to go into, is that if they're not for you, you bless them and you let them go. You stop trying to convince the masculine in your life that it should provide, that it should be present, that it should what's the word nurture and take care of and cherish you. And you start going to that energy of, it's what I'm worthy of. So if you're not going to give that to me, then you're not the one for me. And that energy, either they feel the shift and they will adapt, change, evolve, and grow, right? Or they go. But there's nothing worse, trust me, than being locked into that relationship where the man isn't being the guy, and you are then having absolutely zero space to nurture yourself, because the space you would be having to nurture yourself is taken up by you taking care of a guy, right? There we go. The biggest act of self-care is choosing a partner who is a provider and allowing divine provision. I'm never going to stop doing my mission. I'm never going to stop doing my divine life purpose But that money that comes in is for investing, it's for saving, it's not for giving to your partner, it's not for taking over the male role. And men are hardwired to compete with you. So if you start taking up the masculine space, they're genetically hardwired to fight, right? To compete, to attack. Okay. Well, Rebecca Course is saying, when you're drawn to the bottom, that was me you were drawn to, Sky, and your message was so releasing to me. God is with you, and in your doubts, in my doubts and fears are gone. Thank you. You're welcome, beautiful. Okay, let's do our closing prayer. I love you all. O great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. I love you all. By the way, the next round of Medical Intuitive is going to be in October. Okay, it's going to be in October, not in the spring, because I wanted to keep the two cohorts separate so that I could serve this batch of students better. Okay, so it's going to be in October. If you're interested in the next round, we've already got about 20 people signed up, so please let me know. Please let me know before there's like the ocean of interest and I'm in the middle of the launch and it's harder for me to do the discovery calls or get to you. So if you're interested, please DM me now, talk to me now, and give me as much time as possible, to clear the financial stuff or the fears that you have of being a medical intuitive. Okay, I love you all.